Okay, it's time to do the most important work of a change person, which is the impact assessment. Oh, who am I kidding? All the work's important, but I do think this one is a super powerful tool, and I'm really excited to share it with you. The impact assessment. The impact assessment is just a conversation, guys. It's just a conversation. And when you do an impact assessment conversation, what you're really doing is pausing in your project and having a deliberate, intentional conversation where you work together to anticipate how this change is going to impact people so that you can build a plan to help them. It's that simple. An impact assessment discussion is totally simple. It is not rocket science. It is a powerful, helpful discussion. And the only thing stopping organizations from doing it, maybe there's two things. And the big ones, we just don't take time to do it. Pause, pull back a little, and ask ourselves, what does this mean to people? We're going to take responsibility for the change. We want to ensure our success. And so we're going to pause and try to decide and understand what's it going to mean. And when we understand that, then we can take action to help, which we'll talk about in the change. If you're curious about that right now, we'll talk about that a little bit in the change plan lesson. So how do you do it? There are, depending on your background, right, there's a lot of tools and complex things that are out there and available and people are trained on. And I think those are great if you understand them. I am a very low context person. I've been doing change management a long time, and I keep things insanely simple. And so this is how I've done impact assessments before I even know they were called impact assessments. I've been leading change for 20 years, at least, sorry. And the very first time I did an impact assessment, I was the communication lead and the change lead on the project I was working on. And I said, we're just going to do a content gathering meeting, because I was trying to get content to build my communication plan, to build my training. I call it content gathering. And I got the group together and I just asked these very simple questions. I asked three very simple questions. What's changing? What are people going to like and what aren't they? What's changing? What are people going to like and what aren't they? And over time, I actually did more change management, got training, and I learned that in change management circles, there's a fancy phrase for that called an impact assessment. And now this is what we're going to talk about. So how do you do it? There's just a few things I want to touch on. This isn't a crash course. I'm just going to give you the what for. In the full change course where we do our practitioner training, we get in a lot more specifics about how to do this. And the other thing you get in there is some help, because these skills are a lot more art than science. But for those of you that just need a little bit to get going, take this and run. Those of you that need a little more help, like we get into more hands-on labs, like looking at your project and helping you practice this stuff in real time. So I'd encourage you to check that out. So how do you start? The first step, and this one seems super simple, but it can be more challenging than you realize, is really making a determination on who you should include in your assessment. Who should you invite to the party, right? I like to think of things in a three-legged stool. Who's your process person that understands what's like kind of the project owner, like who understands what's changing? Your business person, like who understands the what for and why? And your customer, like who's going to use the thing? Very early in my career, I get a lot of pushback from project people saying, oh my goodness, don't invite those customers to this meeting. They're going to slow us down. But you absolutely need your customer perspective. And so just think about, you can do it with 3 people, you can do it with 8 people, but make sure that you invite people that understand what's changing, understand why the business needs it, and understand how I have to use it. And as a user, what's going to happen to me. It's probably your most important one, really. So you have a meeting, you invite these people to this discussion, and what you do is describe the change. So just get them all together, make sure they're grounded in the project, and then ask them okay, based on what you've heard, what kind of groups are going to be impacted? Who's going to care? When I say impacted, I invite them to say, I don't care if the person's going to have a transformational job change. We're going to have to reskill them, give them new tools, and train them for a year to do this. Or if they're just going to send me hate mail when it's over because I didn't tell them. Right now in the assessment, the impact assessment discussion, they're an impacted person. And we make a list. Just write them down. I use a very complicated, super sophisticated spreadsheet. Write down the groups. If I'm feeling really fancy, I use a mind mapping tool. Does not matter. And then the second question you're going to ask this group is prioritize the groups. Tell me the two messiest. Tell me the two most impacted. Maybe three, probably two. And the reason I asked for the messy one is we're going to have a conversation as a large group about how this change impacts the most affected. And then if we do the hardest one, it's easier to make assumptions and build a plan around the more simple ones, right? Because we've unearthed most of what we have to unearth. And then you just discuss, take those, prioritize the first one and then the second one, and just discuss it. Ask these questions. What are they going to get? What are they going to get excited about? What are they going to see as a benefit? And don't think you don't have to use this as like a checklist, but just ask, like, get the essence from this team about what's good about this. And then we're going to pump those benefits into our communication. I'm kind of peeking ahead. And then ask, what's going to change? What's going to be different? What are they going to be training on? What processes or procedures are they going to need to know? What documents need updated? And you don't have to write the training in this meeting. A quick bullet will do. Hey, they're going to need to log in differently. They're going to have single sign-on. They're not going to be allowed to, carry a flash drive anymore, whatever. They got to log in separately. And then the third set of questions you ask are right back to loss. Use the chart from your loss lesson. What are people giving up? What aren't they going to like? And what's going to make the change difficult? This is uncovering, digging up, trying to see the resistance. This is how you do an impact assessment. Okay. So what I'm going to invite you to do is go do it. Where can you start? Like, go have a conversation. Do you have a project where you can invite a team together and ask these questions? The more you do of these, the better you're going to get. And if you need help, or like this is a brand new concept to you, I really encourage you to sign up for the change course and get an opportunity to dig into it more deeply. Do that with some support, do it in a lab, bring your projects in and learn from experts on how to do that. Okay. That is the impact assessment.